Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 3 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Dallas Mavericks and Cleveland Cavaliers. Man, this game's got me fired up, and I've got to break it down in my own words. The Mavericks are in a real funk right now. Luka's been shipped off to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis, and it's like watching your best playmaker get benched mid-season. You know how it goes in the league. One minute you're riding high with a superstar pulling the strings, and the next, you're scrambling to fill that void. With Luka gone, Dallas is feeling the sting. They're coming off a loss to the Pistons and, honestly, have been struggling to string wins together lately. They've dropped 6 out of their last 10 games, and it's crystal clear that missing Luka's magic on the court is hurting them more than they'd like to admit. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers are on a tear. They're absolutely heating up the season with a 39-9 record, and if you're a Hoops fan, you know that kind of consistency doesn't come by chance. Cleveland's been steamrolling opponents, and at home, they're nearly untouchable, 23-3 and riding a wave of momentum after snapping a little slide. Sure, some folks might say the Eastern Conference isn't as stacked as the West, aside from the Celtics and Knicks, but when you see the Cavs dominating every game, it's hard not to tip your hat to them. They're playing with that confidence you only see when everything's clicking, the kind of precision in passing, shooting, and locking down defense that makes you believe they've got a shot at carving out a legendary season. For the Mavs to have any chance against a Cleveland squad that's firing on all cylinders, they need to get serious on the defensive end and hope Kyrie Irving steps up as the true floor general. Kyrie's been throwing down big numbers lately, dropping over 25 points in his recent matchups against Cleveland, and his handles and killer crossover moves will be crucial if the Mavericks want to keep pace. And let's not forget Klay Thompson. While he's shown he can light it up on the road, his scoring consistency has been all over the map lately. With the ball moving fast and the clock ticking down, every possession matters, and the Mavs need all their shooters locked in. I can't help but feel that the Mavericks are a bit disoriented right now. The shock of the Luka trade has left them rattled, and with injuries piling up, it's like they're half-court and missing that extra gear. Meanwhile, the Cavs look ready to roll. They're coming in hot, playing with the kind of intensity that makes you think, we're about to see a home blowout here. As I see it, the Cavs are primed to take control early, dominate inside the paint, and keep the Mavericks chasing shadows all night. With Cleveland's robust defense and clinical offense, this is shaping up to be a game where the Cavs not only cover the spread, but do so with style. So, in my book, if you're betting on tonight's matchup, lean hard into the Cavaliers. The Mavs are in a transitional phase, and until they find their rhythm without Luka's wizardry, they're simply overmatched. Expect Cleveland to come out of their house and make a statement, a performance that reminds everyone why they're one of the best teams in the league this season. This isn't just another win. It's a message to the rest of the NBA. When the Cavs hit their stride, there's no stopping them.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers. Man, when you break down this matchup, it's a fascinating chess game between two storied franchises. The Celtics have historically dominated the head-to-head, leading 270 to 198 against Philly. Yet, that Christmas Day battle showed US something different. Philadelphia edged Boston 118 to 114, proving they can rise to the occasion even when the odds are stacked against them. Over the past 10 meetings, Boston's gone 7-3 against Philly, even managing a decent 3-2 run in Philly's own Wells Fargo Center. But that recent win on Christmas still lingers in everyone's mind. Boston's riding high after a thrilling 118 to 116 road win over the Pelicans, where Tatum's game-winning shot sealed the deal. Tatum dropped 32 points with 15 boards, while Brown chipped in 23 and White added 21. But here's the kicker. The bench wasn't stepping up. Their shooting dipped to around 45% overall and just over 40% from deep. They also gave up too many turnovers and didn't bring enough energy on defense, barely recording a handful of steals and blocks. In that previous clash with Philly, Boston got off to a slow start and couldn't rally back when they fell behind early, and that's something they'll need to fix this time around. Now, Philly's season has been anything but smooth. They're currently playing catch-up, sitting 4 games behind the final play-in spot, and with Embiid missing games due to his nagging knee injury, their star power isn't always available. But don't count them out, they've shown resilience. Tyrese Maxey has been on an absolute tear, pouring in 33 points and dishing out 12 assists in that win, and even when Embiid was in the lineup, he delivered a solid 27 points and 9 rebounds. Caleb Martin was a spark until a hip injury sidelined him, and while some of their key pieces might be out, the 76ers have still been nailing free throws and showing grit on defense. What really gets me is how the betting lines have been playing out. Sure, Boston's always the favorite, but they've got a knack for not covering the spread after a big win, kind of like those old Lakers playoff stretches where they'd coast after securing the win. In contrast, Philly's been lighting it up against the spread recently, even covering as underdogs against Boston on Christmas by nearly 10 points. It's like the betting market has this love-hate relationship with the Celtics. They win, but they rarely do it the way you'd expect them to, leaving opportunities for savvy bettors. The injury report is a mixed bag. Philly might be missing Embiid and Caleb Martin, but there's a chance they get a boost if Drummond is back to fortify the paint. Boston, on the other hand, looks relatively healthy, yet health alone won't help them if their supporting cast doesn't fire on all cylinders. If Boston's bench finds its rhythm and they lock down on defense, especially keeping Philly from getting easy second chance points, they could roll out another win. But if they fall back on that familiar pattern of over-relying on Tatum and Brown, Philly's surge, led by Maxey's hot hand, could very well tilt the game in the underdog's favor. From where I stand, I'm leaning towards Philly covering that spread. Boston's been a bit overrated lately, particularly when it comes to the betting numbers. They might win games, but they've got a habit of not doing it in the dominant fashion that the spread calls for. Meanwhile, Philly's been solid against the spread and knows how to upset the narrative when it counts. So even though Boston is the clear favorite on paper, I wouldn't be shocked to see the 76ers bring the kind of intensity that forces Boston to chase the game right until the end. In my book, if Philly controls the boards, minimizes turnovers, and keeps their defensive pressure up, especially on Boston's key scorers, they could pull off another upset, or at least keep it close enough to cover. That's my 2 cents on what's shaping up to be one heck of an East Coast showdown. It's all about execution and heart, and in this matchup, Philly might just have that extra edge to make things interesting. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Memphis Grizzlies and Milwaukee Bucks. Alright, here's my take on the upcoming showdown between the Grizzlies and the Bucks. In true hoops fashion, this game's got all the ingredients for a classic Western Conference battle, and I'm stoked to break it down. So here's the lowdown. The Grizzlies, sitting at 32-16, are on a hot streak, having just squeaked by the Rockets 120-119. But here's the rub, they're doing it without their dynamo Ja Morant, who's still day-to-day with a shoulder issue. Without Ja, Memphis is leaning hard on Jaren Jackson Jr., who's been knocking down shots at an efficient clip. We're talking around 25 points per game at 54% shooting. Desmond Bane is also stepping up, serving both as a scorer and a facilitator in their breakneck offense. Memphis has really flipped the script this season with one of the most innovative pace and space attacks you've seen in the league. They're pushing the tempo like nobody's business, leading in pace, transition attempts, and aggressive drives. Their five-man motion offense is designed to keep defenses on their heels, and with a league-leading rebounding rate of roughly 47.6 per game and a stifling defensive effort that forces opponents into tough shots, they're turning defense into offense like it's nobody's business. When they're clicking, they've been a cover machine, 31-17 against the spread lately and covering in 7 of their last 10 games. But yeah, missing Morant is always a concern, and it forces you to question if the spark's really there, especially on the road. Now, let's talk about the Bucks. Milwaukee's coming in at 27-20, and they know how to play at home. Fiserv Forum is their fortress, and they've chalked up 16 wins there this season. With Giannis Antetokounmpo putting up monster numbers, he's averaging something like 31.8 points per game, 12.2 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. It's hard not to tip your hat to his dominance. And while there were some early mix-ups with playmakers being mentioned, let me set the record straight. Milwaukee's offensive flow isn't just Giannis. Jrue Holiday is running the show, handling the ball, setting up plays, and keeping the Bucks' rhythm intact. But Milwaukee hasn't been without its hiccups. They've been riding a bit of a roller coaster lately. After a sweet run where they weren't just winning, but blowing teams out and covering the spread, they stumbled on the road, getting thumped by the Spurs, and then dropping a 13-point game against the Blazers. These games exposed some of their vulnerabilities, like an inconsistent bench and lapses on the perimeter. Remember, in one game the Spurs hit nearly 48% from deep, and that's something the Bucks can't afford to let slide against a team that thrives on transition. When these two squads clash, it's going to be a chess match of tempo. The Grizzlies want to push the ball, force transition opportunities, and take advantage of any defensive lapses. But the Bucks, playing on their home turf, are going to look to slow things down, set up in their half court, and let Giannis and Holiday exploit those mismatches in the paint. It's all about tempo control. Memphis has been lethal on the break, but if the Bucks can disrupt that rhythm and force them into half-court sets, Milwaukee's got the keys to the game. I'm leaning on Milwaukee here, especially given that home court factor and the recent road struggles of the Grizzlies. The missing Morant definitely tilts the scales. You're always a bit nervous when a key piece of your offensive puzzle is out, no matter how hot the rest of the squad has been. And while Memphis has been a cover machine all season, if Ja Morant isn't in the lineup, I'm not too comfortable betting on them, especially when Milwaukee has something to prove after those rough road outings. Expect a high-scoring affair, but one where the Bucks look to keep things controlled, likely keeping total points under 245 if they do their job on the defensive end. Milwaukee's got to lock down on the perimeter and cut off those transition opportunities that Memphis loves so much. At the end of the day, with Giannis leading the charge and Milwaukee needing a win in February to quiet some of the critics, I'm putting my money on the Bucks to not only win, but cover a modest 3-point spread. In this game, control of the tempo is king, and I believe Milwaukee's savvy home defense will ultimately tip the scales in their favor.